Before we get into the video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. So, the infamous man who savagely stabbed 21 Savage's brother, Terrell Davis-Emmons, at a housing estate in Brixton when he was delivering shopping to his grandmother's house, has been named as 22-year-old Tyrece Fuller. Now, if you remember, or if you can cast your mind back, the knifing took place in Brixton last year, in November 2020. Now, 22-year-old Tyrece Fuller miraculously missed out on the charge of murder, but was found guilty of manslaughter after he knifed 27-year-old Terrell Davis-Emmons with a 6-inch blade. So, for his crimes, Tyrece Fuller was jailed for 10 years for the manslaughter, and he was also given a 3-year sentence for possession of an offensive weapon. So, in retrospect, his sentence is actually 13 years. But what the hell is 13 years for taking another man's life? Once you do 13 years, you'll still come out and you'll still live your life. You'll still have a family and people that care and love you. You'll still laugh, you'll still giggle, you'll still catch up with your friends. As for the deceased, there's no going back. There's no redos, there's no pauses, there's no reruns, there's no nothing. That life has ended, kaput. Now, this was not a case of good versus bad or right versus wrong, because reports indicate that both people were actually armed after they had first embraced each other and actually shared a hug. They then brandished their knives at each other and they were seen to engage in a fight. Now, fair play to the passerby who actually intervened at one point and actually tried to break up the ruckus, but ultimately they fought, and in a fight there's always a winner and a loser. CCTV footage captured the moment Terrell Davis-Emmons actually put his knife away, put it back in his sheath, and it was at that moment that Tyrece Fuller lunged at 21 Savage's brother, who went by the rap name TM1Way. Now that makes Tyrece Fuller a coward, but anything goes when you live the street life. Once you're enemies, you can do whatever you like. Now once the knifing took place, Terrell Davis-Emmons lifted his jumper up and saw the blood and the gaping hole to his body, and he collapsed, falling face first into a bush as he lost consciousness. Terrell Davis-Emmons was pronounced dead at the scene. Now reports indicate that the stabbing was over a reported 8k deaths. Now, as for Tyrece Fuller, he was man enough and gangster enough and big enough to stab another person to death, but he wasn't man enough to look Tyrell's family in the eye and actually accept his punishment. Now that's just plain cowardice. Instead of going to court, he opted to remain in his prison cell, and the judge blasted him for his lack of courage. When you're involved in the streets, the street life only perpetuates violence. People out there will snake you, they will scheme you, they will trick you in order to get the upper hand. I mean, if two people are involved in a fight and one person puts his knife away and another man lunges at you at that moment, he's an opportunist. He would take the advantage and do whatever he has to do to kill you, and this is normal to these kind of cowards, these kind of idiots and these kind of fools. All I can say is condolences to Terrell Emmons' family. Stay safe.